There could be more chilly nights ahead for Killie in Europe as they progress against Tromso and they advance to the playoff stages of the Europa Conference League. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. And Derek McInnes said last week that Tromso thought they were already through. They were already into the next round, but we would see who was going to be through after a week. And we've seen who's through, and it's not the Norwegian side. It's Kilmarnock. It's the Scottish team. It's Derek McInnes' team. It's Derek McInnes 1. That Norwegian prick now.
Morning, Killie! We'll see who's through next Thursday, he said. What a man Derek McInnes is. Yes, he rejected Rangers once, but you know what? We might need you now, brother.
You know what? Fair play to him, man. He made the right call. But anyway, let's talk about this tonight. His career, he's getting it back on track. He's moving in the right direction. And he's taking Killie to places they've never been before. I mean, yeah, they did qualify for Europe a couple of years ago, but we all know how that went. Connacht Nomads. So.
The Nomads rode in and hoovered everyone's patches off them in Killie.
Aye, so but yeah, no.
He doesn't know what he's saying. He's flabbergasted, but it was Joe. It's a goal for Joe. That's exactly what Killie tweeted. Great goal from a corner. Joe Wright opened the scoring, and if there's one team that you would want to defend a lead for 80 odd minutes, it's Kilmarnock.
Not quite Joe Hendry, but it was Joe Wright with the goal. A little bit fortunate, but here you need all the luck.
Maybe a little bit. It was a fucking goal for a corner. I was fortunate about it.
Took a deflection.
It hit off his big dome one in the net.
Ah, but it came off the Tromso player.
Nothing fortunate about it.
So a little bit fortunate, but here need a little bit of luck in life. And Kilmarnock, after this, they were sitting really, really deep, and I'm thinking, surely they're not going to do this for, 80 minutes here. They're not just going to sit back and try and see the game out. But, I mean, that was only to kind of tide the storm. After that, Kilmarnock started coming into the game a bit more, started playing some decent stuff, and they gave Tromso a game tonight. They were just as good, and this wasn't a case of Kilmarnock getting an early goal and sitting back and having 11 men behind the ball. They actually played alright tonight. Had chances to double their lead now, yeah. Tromso had a few chances as well. Hit the crossbar, second half. They could have equalised, I guess. I mean, they had a couple of opportunities, but so did Killie. And I think actually the better team won tonight. Killie going away from home, getting the victory, getting the clean sheet. Not many people expected that outside of Derek McInnes, but he said it was going to happen. He said he predicted the future tonight. He says we'll see who goes through next week, and we have seen it, and it's Killie that's went through. They've went through, and they've done Scottish football proud, and they're keeping the coefficient alive. They're keeping it going, earning Scotland an extra whole point or 1,000, whatever you want to call it, in the coefficient. A win, a W, and that's exactly what we needed, especially after seeing Rangers get pumped out of the Champions League the other night, and St Mirren, unfortunately, tonight. Their European dreams and hopes and, run in this competition coming to an end as well. So, Kilmarnock seen it through, got the job done. A little bit of play acting towards the end at the corner flag, which I didn't like. I don't care if it's for the team that I want to win or against the team I want to win. I'm just not a big fan of seeing grown men pretending to be hurt, rolling a bit of pitch. It's not a good look for football. And
it's alright in wrestling though, brother.
Totally fucking different, but
yeah, I know what it's a wee joke. Yeah.
It's just not a good. It's just not a good look in sports. It's really not.
No.
Could you imagine if Phil Taylor was beating Van Gerwen in darts and Van Gerwen just dived on the deck and started rolling about?
With all the people in darts, I would expect him to do that.
It's just come on. It's like see him boxing. In boxing, man, they go out in their shield. It's like just. That really does bother me about football, and you know what? It's only men's football you get that in. See when you watch like kids football or even under 21s ain't that bad. When you watch women's football, I will say this: women's football's way better for
sportsmanship.
Sportswomanship, I guess. The men's football. See when it comes to just rolling about, trying to fake referees and try to con them into making the wrong decisions. It's actually embarrassing what you see in football. But here, I don't want to ruin a good night by ranting and raving about play acting, because that's not a Kilmarnock problem. It's a footballing problem in general.
Tromso had a goal disallowed. There was about a foot in it. Lucky here, it was a good goal under McCrory. I thought McCrory had a good game though. I mean, here, I don't think you can really fault many Killie players. They won 1-0. Great result. We needed these 2 extra games. It's not just it gives them an opportunity, it's 2 extra games to boost the coefficient. And also, now we've got Hearts and Killie next week rather than just Hearts.
Yeah, it's
a lot more to look forward to.
Plus, it's 2 extra games for Kilmarnock to stay in Europe and continue their European journey. So it's good for the players, good for Derek McInnes, good for the fans.
I think
good for Scottish football to have another representative in the competition for another 2 weeks. Now, the only thing it's probably not good for is Kilmarnock's league form, because they haven't started the league very well, and they might have to put this first. They might have to sacrifice a couple more league games in order to maximise their chances of getting through in Europe. But I guarantee, well, I can't speak for everybody because I know a lot of people say that the league's the most important thing, and I get that. But for me, if I was a Kilmarnock fan, if you offered me four defeats to start the season, but Kilmarnock to be in the group stages of the Conference League, I would take that every day of the week. But I know fans probably won't, and you're not allowed to get off to a poor start in the league. But for me, I think that's a pretty good trade-off. Being in the group stages, but being dead last in the league and having 4 defeats to your name.
No, put it this way, right? If you would rather do well in the league compared to Europe for like a club like Killie, it's almost idiotic because you're wanting to do well in the league to get like European spots, but the whole point of getting European spots is for moments and runs like this.
Aye.
So,
no, what would you rather? Killie get knocked out of Europe, maybe have 9 points out of 12 after 4? Who's going to remember? Oh, we're on 9 points out of 12. Whoop-de-doo. We're sitting in like 2nd or 3rd place in the league. Big whoop. Europe, you got to prioritise the European games. I'm sure Rangers would have took 4 L's to start the season if it meant qualifying for the Champions League. I mean, you can look at me as if I'm taking the piss, but that money, absolutely not.
You know what? I mean, you'd be 12 points behind Celtic for this.
You're going to lose the league anyway, so I mean, what's the point? You'll come back and finish 2nd. You ain't going to beat Celtic either way, so you may as well take the trade-off.
I don't even know, man.
Is that something...
I'm fed with talking about Rangers. It depresses me.
Yeah, well, is that something that Scottish teams need to realise? Is it worth the sacrifice? Although you could flip it and go, what if you get to the last round of the playoffs and then you get knocked out and you've had a shit start to the league? Which Derek McInnes could find himself in. Now, as good as it was tonight, what happens if in 2 weeks' time, what if it's on a knife edge and unfortunately Kilmarnock go out by the odd goal and they've had a horrible start to the league campaign and maybe they get knocked out the cup? Before you know it, Derek McInnes could be going from a hero, almost qualifying for the group stages of European competition, and automatically he's turning into a guy that has maybe 2 games left to save his job. That's unfortunate, that's how it works in football. But I think that these teams should accept and acknowledge that here, if we qualify for the European competitions, then we need to give our managers the benefit of the doubt, and we need to cut them a bit of slack when it comes to domestic results. Aberdeen last season, I mean, great European campaign. Definitely deserved to get more points than they got. Should have 100%, I think, qualified for that group. They were robbed against PAC, but their league form was garbage. But for me, it's like, poor league form, but you've got wins over Frankfurt. Something that other team for Scotland couldn't do. So Aberdeen had some really good memorable moments in Europe last year. Anyway, point is, I think in Scotland, especially these teams, you don't have the biggest squads. I would say it's impossible for teams in Scotland outside of the old firm to have success in both domestic and European by real success, I mean keep up your usual standard in the league, but also qualify for the group stages of Europe and be successful in the group stages.
I can half accept that. I mean, I think Hearts did an alright job. I mean, they were 3rd while in Europe. It was after Europe.
Wasn't that good enough? Because Robbie Neilson got sacked, wasn't it?
And you don't think that should have went down that way?
I don't think he should have got sacked.
As for Killie, right? So
I don't think Barry Robson should have got sacked, especially if the answer was fucking that old dinosaur.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Jabroni. Anyway, I mean, Ostrava are 1-0 up against Copenhagen. So this game is in extra time, 6 minutes to go. Who would you want from a Killie perspective? I think it's got to be Ostrava.
Of course, but I mean, you could argue Copenhagen or it's a big tie. Would you like the trip to Denmark? Maybe Copenhagen. They're probably a team that over the last decade, I would say they've probably been in the Champions League group stages, probably half of that. They feel like a team that's been in there about 50%.
I think Killie fans would rather the trip to Czech Republic because, you know, they've already been to a Scandinavian country. Actually, I don't think Denmark's part of Scandinavia.
It's not, no.
I've just.
Aye, it's just made yourself look like a dipshit there.
Well, I have.
I believe it's Norway, Sweden, and Finland.
You're
so
right.
you have, aye.
Aye.
And you're the guy that's just taught when you talk about geography and maps, you pretend like you know fucking everything.
I've just botched.
Aye. Acting like Livingston's not in Edinburgh. Anyway, is there anything else?
Aye, you know what? It's Killie in Europe.
Aye.
Oh.
But for how long? We're going to find out. Will
That's us out of Europe, man.
Will Killie still be in the League Cup come Monday morning?
Who are they against? St. John? No, Rangers. Don't know, Jeff.
I don't know.
It's a pretty subdued way to end the fed. Anyway, won the Killie.
Yeah, great result, great performance. Fantastic, love to see it.
Now to talk about St Mirren and their own match review. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, 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 wah.